Hello, hello. This is one of those days when I do some programming. All right. Today I want to look into a new ECS library. That's called Evenio. I don't think I can find it by just doing this. Rust. This is an archetype-based entity component system framework for building event-driven programs. It aims to have a small but maximally expressive set of features that are easy and efficient to use. In addition to the usual entities, components, and systems, Evenio introduces events as a first-class citizens. Rather than restricting systems to run once every frame update in a fixed order, systems are generalized as event handlers. The control flow of the entire program is just the flow of the events. Structural changes to the world, such as entity despawning, component additions, removals, etc. are mediated by events, allowing handlers to look into their occurrence. Benjamin, you're done with Factorio for the day? I am done with Factorio for the day too. I need to prepare a little bit for the Ludum Dare that's happening this weekend. So yeah. Do you know Rust? Are you familiar with game development? I'm looking at easier ways to write games basically all the time. To change my spaghetti code into something better, but it's hard. There is like this ECS approach that I tried with Bevy, which is kind of nice, but at the same time I have a lot of issues with it. And this is another ECS library which changes some things, so I want to try it. Structural changes to the world is entity despawning. Pigorly, hello. Entity despawning, component additions, removals, etc. are mediated by events, allowing handlers to hook into their occurrence. Component types, event types, and handlers are identified by generational indices, allowing them to be added or removed dynamically. Execute queries in parallel with Rayon. The library does not depend on Rust's type system. Features such as inter-handler parallelism and event bashing are planned but not yet implemented. For a full step introduction, please read the tutorial book. Library tutorial. This is a short getting started tutorial which explains the main concepts of the library. The basic understanding of Rust is assumed. Each chapter of a book is a separate module. To begin with, start with chapter 1. To begin using the library, you will need a world to store all of our data. So it's just a data structure, which is called the world. And then you have an application usually needs a single world, but multiple worlds can be used if the need arises. Be careful when mixing identifiers from different worlds. An identifier for an item in one world, such as entity ID, is meaningless when used in a different world. Makes sense. Makes sense. Handlers are event handler functions that enable efficient access to the world. The majority of your application logic will likely live within handlers. Events are messages that handlers listen for. A handful of events are defined by the library and have special effects when sent. A handful of events is defined by the library and have special effects. However, most events are defined by the user. To get started, let's create a hello world handler which prints a message hello world whenever our message is sent. We have a message with a string inside. We just send the message to the world, right? And then the handler is being called whenever we send the message, basically. Okay, that's easy. The handler is the thing that's receiving the message. Receiver is a handler parameter which tells the handler that we would like to listen for events of type E. Note that handlers must listen for exactly one event type. Attempting to listen for more than one event or no events at all will panic. Panics. Lambdas are also inserters. Alright, not a compile time error, but a panic, but okay. Okay. This is fine. Handler ordering. Would be nice if it would be a compile time error, though. When multiple handlers listen for the same event, we will need to consider the order those handlers should run when the event is sent. Handler order is first determined by the handler's handler priority. This is just high, medium, and low. Medium is default. If handlers have the same priority, then we fall back to the order the handlers were added to the world to decide the order. Okay. So we add a bunch of handlers to the world, and then my event has like 3 handlers now, and they go in the order from high to low. Chapter 2, Event Mutation. So far we only had immutable access to the events from within handlers, but sometimes it's desirable to mutate events so that the handlers will see the event differently. We can achieve that by receiver mute handler parameter. So we can receive and mutate the event. The normal receiver is just giving me the reference, I guess, then. You should prefer using a receiver whenever possible, and only use a receiver mute when mutable access to the event is needed. Okay. Event ownership. We can take the step of this a step further and entirely take ownership of the event. Doing so will stop the event from broadcasting, and later handlers will not receive the event. Okay. We just take the event. Darova. Zrosli. Привет, Элдак. Got event 13579. So every even number here is ignored basically by the second handler. Makes sense. This can be useful in a number of different scenarios. Consider a take damage event used to signal an entity taking damage in a game. With event consumption, we take ownership of the event before it has a chance to propagate, effectively creating an invincibility effect. Okay. Chapter 3. Sending events from handlers. Previously, we've seen how to send events using the world send method, but to send events from within a handler, you will need to use the sender handler parameter. What I will do today, looking into the ECS library, this one. And then I want to try maybe to make a simple game using it to like practice before the LD. Before they load them there. So basically make a small game. If you have an idea for a very, very small game, like Pong or maybe something like similar, we can try doing that. But send events from within a handler, we'll need to use a sender handler parameter. 3 events. We receive A and we can send B and C. Send B, send C. Okay. In the parameter sender BC, the BC is the set of the events the sender is allowed to send. Attempting to send the event that is not in the set will fail. Sender send well, does not immediately send the events, but rather adds them to the front of the event queue in reverse order. The next event in the queue begins broadcasting once all handlers from the current event have finished. Makes sense, kind of. How does this work on practice? We'll see. Chapter 4, Entities and Components. Entities and components are the bread and butter of any ECS framework. Entities make up things in your application, such as monsters, players, cameras, GUI elements, or items by itself. An entity is just a unique identifier, entity ID. It is the entity's set of components that differentiate a player from a monster or a camera from an item. Components hold the data while handlers operate on entities with certain sets of components. I'll see how we might model player and monster entities in the game with a venue. We have a player, we have a monster, which is just a zero-sized component, which is just a tag. So we spawn a player, spawn a monster, spawn something else. The player has 100 health, position 00, and the player tag. Monster has 20 health, position 100, monster tag. We can visualize our data using a table where rows are entities and columns are components. Building components. If our game has lots of monsters with lots of components, we might grow tired of inserting the components individually. To fix this, we can create a new event and handler do the inserting for us. Initialize monster handler. Initialize the monster, which is inserting the health, position, and monster. I actually like this. I like this. This means that you can have a separate handler. So like whenever you spawn a monster in a game world, in Bevy, for example, at least in the examples that I have seen, you receive you basically spawn all the components that are related to logic and related to graphics in one place, usually. But with this, you can have multiple handlers, one in the logic module, one in the rendering module, and they initialize their own sets of components, basically, for the monsters that are like needed there. So this is good. You can't really detect the creation of a new. I mean, you can, but it's like weird in Bevy. Okay. Whenever we insert a component or an entity, what we're actually doing is sending the special insert event for that component. Because of this, we have to specify the correct insert events in the handler's sender above. Cleanup. To remove an entity from the world, we set the despawn event. This will drop all of the entity's components and make its entity ID invalid. The entity ID will never be reused by the new entity. Alternatively, we can, if we just want to remove components without deleting the entire entity, we can send the remove event for the specific component. Performance consideration. Internally, all entities with the same set of components are organized into groups called archetypes. Archetypes enable fast entity iteration and cleanup, among other benefits. However, our design means that adding or removing a component on an entity will force all components of that entity to move somewhere else in memory, which can be slow. If components are being rapidly added or removed, consider using a boolean or an option inside the component instead. Chapter 5, Fetching. In the previous chapter, we have seen how to create entities and components to them and add components to them, but components are not very useful unless we have some way to access them from within the handlers. This is where the fetcher handler parameter comes in. Fetcher Q allows for both random access entity lookups using an entity ID and iteration over all the entities matching some Q query. We have the event E, the component A, component B, spawn the entity E1 with both A and B components. entity 2 with component A, entity 3 with component B. Whenever we receive the event, we want to fetch the entity 1. This is just getting the entity 1. This is just getting the component A of the entity 1. And then entity 3 does not have this component, and then dot iter makes us get all the entities with the A component. Easy. Queries are expressions used to filter and access data from entities. In the previous example, we used the reference to A to query the match entities with the A component. There are other queries to choose from. This matches entities with component C and returns an immutable reference to C. This matches and returns a mutable to C. A tuple matches the tuple. Empty returns nothing. Optional returns the result of query as some or none if Q does not match, or matches if Q1 or Q2 matches. Returns the matched query results. Wait, what? What does this mean? Matches if Q1 or Q2 matches. Returns the matched query results for like both of them. Nerdzel, where's your notification? I don't know. Where is your notification? You mean on Discord? I did not write on Discord, I guess, today. Are you down to do the ECS library during the LD? Probably not. Why not? Let's try this here. I think it might be nice. Depends on the game. All right. We need to come up with a game idea that I will try to implement today shortly, if this works. With like the gang, I think. All right. Tetris. Tetris has too much logic to it. We want something simpler, probably. Like a Flappy Bird or a Pong. Tetris without rotation. I mean, oh, sure, we can do Tetris. I mean, it's just like we want to test the library and not like the other things, right? I want like, is there a good like example that we would? I don't know. Like something that will show us that this library is good or not quickly, you know? Flappy Bird might be a good one. Flappy Bird is simple. Simpler than Pong, probably, right? Entity ID has Boolean indicating Q matches with returns nothing and does not access the result of Q. Not does not match, returns nothing. Okay, so there's just a bunch of things. In Bevy you have like queries and you have filters. In this thing, everything is just the same stuff. It seems. Everything is just a query. You know, they don't make the distinction. All right, sure, why not? So this is why this is with underscore, because with we don't care about like the result. This is just for filtering. Wait, that's why the name doesn't matter. Access conflicts. Within a query or set of queries, it's possible to create a component accesses that violate Rust's aliasing rules consider a fetcher, two fetchers, which one of them takes a mutable reference to A, one of them is immutable reference to A. You cannot do that. Panic. Okay, good. But you can do A with B and A with not with B, and that will not panic. Good. A zombie defense. Yeah, we can do zombie defense, whatever that means. Is that an existing game? Singleton entities. Through the course of development, you may find ourselves wanting to store global data in the location that is easily accessed by the handlers. To facilitate this, Evenio has the single handler parameter. Single is parameterized by a query that must match a single entity in the world. If the query does not match exactly one entity, then a runtime panic occurs. Okay. Whatever. For handling the situation where single fails, see try single. Okay, and then we have targeted events. This, but with zombie graphics. Asteroids, but with zombie graphics, sure. Target events. Events in Evenio come in two flavors, targeted and untargeted. Targeted events are directed at a particular entity. For instance, the standard insert, remove, and despawn events are targeted. Untargeted events are everything else. Targeted events enable handlers to efficiently ignore events whose targets do not match a given query. To create a targeted event, using the event-derived macro, we mark an entity ID field with the event target attribute. Without that, the events are untargeted. Okay, so we have the target, this, that. To listen for a target event, we must use the second type parameter of the receiver. If the target matches the query data is accessible in the query field of the receiver. So we receive the event and then we query some shit from this entity that we have been targeted. Okay, that we have targeted. What if the what if it doesn't match, but the event exists? We're just going to ignore this event then? I guess. Yeah, I guess makes sense. Did you read this, Nerdsoul? This was linked by Spike in the Discord. The Evenio. No, but you have it on your read list still? It sounds nice. It sounds nice. But if it works or not, we'll see. Enforcing invariance, for example. See, enforcing invariance. To do. But I mean, but it is there, right? It's the book is to do, but like, I mean, sounds like not enough static checks. Well, yeah, but it's like, did you suggest we use your library? Because did you ever try splitting the components and everything, like all the logic between, like, so it's easy to like split the rendering away from the logic of the game? Anyway, we have enforcing invariance. This is like probably a runtime check, but still. Immutable components. When defining a component, we have an option to mark the component as immutable. An immutable component disallows direct mute access, but permits manipulation through insert and remove events. This gives the component author more control over its usage. Which means that... what? No one can mutate it? I sometimes want so that like only one module can mutate the component. Something like that is what I want. Let's say a component should represent UID for the entities. UIDs are usually not meant to change during the lifetime of the entity, so let's see how we can prevent mutation entirely. To start, we'll mark the component as immutable. Attempting to get a mutable reference to the UID component will fail at compile time. Look, compile time. Splitting rendering from logic is impossible, Kappa. You would need me to show you. Okay. I get you entered late. The bot will stream itself. Imagine GUI for defining commands and internal routing within the bot that will visualize all the data going through, and it could be streamed. I can't imagine. My imagination doesn't work like that. Okay, Nerdzel, special for you. Special for you. Here's one of the things that's interesting. Whenever, so like basically, you don't have a set of systems that run every frame in this library. You say world send event. So event can be, for example, a mouse click, or I don't know, I want to draw something on the screen, right? And then all the handlers that are registered to do that are doing that, right? That's like one of the things. You don't like even have the like this library doesn't know nothing about like frames in a game. It's just a library, you know, which is good. Then you can like your handlers for the specific event are working in order that you define them, and you can mutate the event so that the future handlers are going to like see the event differently. So I guess, for example, if your event is rendering, then you can have inside your event probably something like the frame buffer here, maybe, and then you can like basically mutate the event by rendering into the frame buffer, maybe, I don't know. And then you can also take ownership, implicit, explicit order. What do you mean implicit, explicit? It's explicit. Explicit. How is it implicit? It's explicit. It's pretty explicit. It's pretty explicit, but you want these handlers to be like in different places. That's why I like one of them is about the logic, another one is about the rendering, right? So you split it here, right? That's why this is good. And then to split the creation, over here. You will totally forget the order once they are added from different module. It's literally, how is it different from like having a function that calls other functions and you forget the order? You just look at the function that's calling those functions. It's literally the same, right? The order is written at least, like unlike Bevy, so it's good. And then over here, yeah, we have the initialize most. Yeah, first of all, you handle the new components. Those are also events. You handle the removing of components. Those are also events that you can react to. And you can split the creation of an entity by having multiple handlers listening for the like initialize event. Like over here, you spawn an entity and then you send the event, which is basically like calling a function. Initialize the entity, right? Initialize the entity. And then initializing the entity is inserting the components, right? And then imagine if you have two different handlers for the initialize event. One of them is initializing the graphics, another one is initializing the logic, and that's easy. Then, you see? And you just split the logic data and the graphical data. And they don't need to, like, I mean, the graphics probably needs to know about the logic, but the logic doesn't need to know about the graphics. You think I've seen something, but could the state be an invalid state? So, that's what the enforcing invariance is about. And I guess this is a to-do. But if I was to guess, you can add well, what's an invalid state anyway? That you like insert one component but not the like be like no one is going to observe that invalid state. So like in Bevy, if you have a separate system that inserts one set of components and then another set of components, then in theory there can be a system in the middle that will see the object only partially initialized, right? But over here, when you are sending the event, so like over here, you send the event from inside the handler. It means that nothing, like basically all the events that are sent from inside the handler are going to be like processed before we move to the next event, which means like inserting the components. There's nothing like a commands buffer like in Bevy. If you insert a component from inside a handler, the next system is going to already see it, unless it's the system for like exactly the same event. I think it's like, isn't there an event buffer? Yes, but okay, let me read this again. The sender send does not immediately send events, but rather adds them to the front of the event queue in reverse order. The next event in the queue begins broadcasting once all the handlers for the current event have finished. Same thing. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. It basically means that once the it basically means that all the handlers for the current event are going to see the world in exactly the same state. Basically, unless you mutate the events components. I guess, kind of. I don't know. We'll see in practice if it works or not. Is there anything else that I have not read here? There is immutable components. UID could still be changed using the insert. Less than raise an error if the UID would be overwritten. Doesn't panic. Detect overwrite. So over here, you can detect the fact that someone is trying to insert a component into an entity which already has this component, and then you can panic, you know. You cannot do that in Bevy. What can handlers do? Handlers are basically the systems in Bevy, but they only they react to certain events. In Bevy, the systems, they are like attached to schedules. Over here, they are attached to events, and then they react to events basically. On idle, make your own multi-threaded implementation. Yeah, but what can they modify? The things that they have, like similarly as in Bevy, like it seems like the modifications are similar. You have the queries like in Bevy, right? It's called fetcher here. So you're fetching the component A, which by reference to A, basically, right? Same as with Bevy, if you want to mutate components, you just do a mute C, right? And then you can have like similarly filters, that. And they can also get and mutate the event that they react to. Is this library enabling multi-threaded Rust Factorio Ultimate Client Killer? For short, Mr. Fuck? Resources is a single, like is an entity that's just like a single one of them, which I think is a good thing. I don't like resources too much. Like, what if you want to refactor your game from having a resource into having like multiple of the same resource? Instead of having like one window for a game, you want to have a multi-windowed game. You want scoped resources. What's a scoped resource? But you don't know what that means? Alright, you want something, but you don't know what it is. Alright, I mean, that happens with me too. Alright. Let's take a look at the repository. Did I have a game example? There is not, because like this is not a game library. This is just an ECS. Do we... There is also send and sync requirements everywhere. Which might make it a little hard to do work with gang currently. But maybe I can fork it and remove that requirement. Alright. Anyone use that library yet? Except for this author. Let's see. I guess I can find on the crates IO. Then IO. Dependents. This crate has not used it as a dependency on any other crate on crates IO. Alright, well, it makes sense that it's not being used. Okay, let's try doing something. Did you work on the game template, Nerdsoul, or not yet? No? Is there... Okay. Let's go to projects, clone, GitHub, King, engine, King template. Does it even have a Nix file in it? What's it called? Is it game template? Underscore? Underscore? No. Gang template? Okay. Okay. Copy. And let's remove the cargo lock too. From here. I think the hardest part of using this library is going to be this. Removing the send and sync requirements. Send and sync bound would make it difficult to work with frameworks like GG Easy and SDL2. The multi-threaded executor is currently implemented in Bevy ECS, has very significant overhead, to the point where many games can improve their performance by disabling it. Veldak, gifted tier 1 sub to Linux. Did you try to activate Linux? That's not how it works. Linux activated? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. if that's how it works. You know, Linux license is expensive. Yeah. And where's the license key? Multi-threaded executor is significant overhead. Many gains would improve by disabling it. This may be sufficient evidence that inter-handle parallelism is not worth implementing. Parallel iterators for fetcher may be sufficient for most users. I would rather not handicap this library indefinitely. Okay. So there's this, but I might just be able to fork it. Okay. Duran allow. Okay, so here we go. We have what, cargo run? Let's see. Wait, oh, what even is here? Hold on. You'd ignore. I need not that anniversary dot Duran. Right? Okay, there you go. What do you have here? Model, logic, whatever. Whatever. This is fine. This is fine, but you have over here. Do we want to use the Git version? Or is the current version like published already? What's the current version anyway? Do you remember if I published it? 017. It has clap already there. You don't need that. Just do gang thing. That's it. System D rules. I like System D, yeah. But not the SSHD. What's wrong with SSHD? Or is there like System D SSHD? All right, it actually still compiles. Hold on. Well, it does not need to be updated. It looks like Nerdcell does not need to be updated. You have the assets here. You have game. Oh, I think we can help by cargo checking here. The Rust analyzer. I think it was already updated. That's what it looks like. This is all like new stuff. You have some async. For some reason, you have your own method load instead of implementing the loading of the assets here. Though this over here is weird. Instead of doing this, like you already derive gang asset load. So why do you have your own method here? Just to tell it where to load from? Okay. I mean, sure, whatever. Fine. I'm not here to look at this code. But let's just Let's just have the Nix fog. Okay, we have the Nix here. Do I have the access to push into this repository? I do. Okay. You forget? Okay. Let's see. So what I want is to do what? Like cargo add Evenio, right? Features STD and Rayon. Okay. All right. What did I hold on? What did I do even in the flake here? Yeah. Everything is good here. So cargo check. 3 more crates. We have 3 more crates, and now I need to recompile some things. Run. Okay. Some new feature wasn't enabled in somewhere, maybe. Cargo check. Warning, contains Veldak. All right. Let's see. Hello. I can see this is not Lisp. Why is it not Lisp? Is it obvious that you like Lisp, ancient Lisper? Lisp is nice. Using Lisp, from what I understand, the continuation stuff that I was looking into recently, that's like coming from Lisp. So that's nice. It means that they're smart people, those people who use Lisp. I've seen anyone misspell boobs so badly. Pum 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 pum. Yeah, this is Rust. This is not Lisp. With Lisp, you can use keyboard with only 2 keys, opening and closing bracket. Yeah, you can. I mean, technically, you can do it in a lot of other languages too. Like in JavaScript, you can use square brackets. Then, by the way, in order to do the opening bracket and closing bracket, you need to do Shift 9 and Shift 0, at least on my keyboard. If you use JavaScript, you can do opening and closing brackets, which requires actually only 2 keys instead of 3. Right? Wait, can you write a program with just the square brackets? I guess not really. Can you do it in Lisp though? Probably also not even not. Okay, so what we want is to try to create the world, right? So we have the state. Let's see. We have the game over here. So over here, see, you have the model, you have the render, you have the engine, right? What's the game render? This is like the rendering state, right? This is the rendering state, and this is the logical state, from what I understand here. That's what Nertzl did, right? So instead of that, we're going to just have the world, I think, which is going to be Evenio world. How about we use Evenio prelude this world, right? When you are a serious Lisp programmer, you have brackets mapped to those 2 remaining keys. All right. So what do you write in Lisp? Do you have open blast provider for blast and lapack in Rust? I have no idea what those words mean. I don't know, maybe I have those, maybe I don't. You do all sorts of hello worlds in Lisp. Nice. We're kind of writing a hello world ourselves over here, but a hello world in the world of gaming. So like something like a Flappy Bird or like a zombie game, right? Is what we're doing. Asteroids. Okay, but I'm trying to figure out a library here. So we have the world, right? So let's see. World dot world is. So I'm going to create the new world, and then we're going to have render initialize into the world. I think something like that. This is a similar thing to the Bevy plugin then. That's going to initialize the rendering system into the world. And before that, we want to initialize like the logic, right? Which is the model. I think. So instead of that, we just have those inside the world living together. And if we don't want to have the rendering, we just comment this out. That's it. Right? So let's go to the model. Right? Model. Model. So I don't have the struct model. Instead, I have function initialize to the world, which is the venue world. I'm not used to Helix. Why am I using Helix right now, by the way? Anyone knows? I have no idea. Why am I not on VS Code currently? No idea. How do I go here? Not sure if Max is the way, the only way, because I fully embraced model editing. Yeah, but why I'm not in a Vim then? Just use NeoVim at this point. Nah, I like Helix more. When I'm doing when I'm in the terminal, I think Helix is really nice. I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever. But Helix is nice. I like some features of Helix more. Eventually they will have the plugin management and it will be better than Vim. How do I go to the references here? Or do I just G? R. Okay. Okay, so we'll go here and then the render. So instead of the rendering, we also have a function init world ut world, and that also goes from the venue prelude that. What does it say? Activate Linux. It should be GNU Linux. Well, because the GNU part is open source, but the Linux needs to be activated, you know? You only like Helix because it has better syntax highlighting than NeoVim. If you enable the tree-seater plugin for NeoVim, it will be literally the same. Right? I think. Like the default Vim syntax highlighting is different, but you can do the tree-seater plugin there. Can't find model in the scope. Okay, yeah, so we don't have the model. That's what I'm saying. We don't have the draw. We don't have the new. We don't have this thing. Allow dead code. It's dead code. Now it's fully dead code. Nice. To do, add unit tests. Let's have it in the model file at least. Right. To do, add Unit tests. All right, that's job for Nerdzel though, not for me. Right, Nerdzel? Okay. So let's see, cargo run. Okay. How do I go to the diagnostics here? Space D. Space capital D for workspace diagnostics. Okay. So here, this does not exist anymore. And then model and render, those things don't exist. The game is literally the world. I don't think I even need like the gang here or something like that. We'll see. So instead of rendering, here's what I'm going to do. Instead of doing the render, I do what? We will have the event, right? I will have the event that is called rendering. So render this thing is going to have the draw, and this is the event. Derive venue. Hello? Wait, what? Helix does not autocomplete here in the derives. VS Code does that. Venue. Why don't I have autocompletion here? Imagine not having bacon. Do you all know that Zig is the Rust of the future? Rust is basically the dead language, so Zig is on the market. No, Zig is trash. Okay, not trash, if you compare it to something else. Than Rust, I guess. I think I have Zig is the better C. Yeah, Zig is C, literally. Just a little better. I think I have autocompletion in derives. Why do I not have that? Because I have autocompletion in other places. Derive event, right? That's what they told me. Struct, okay. So then over here, right? This is the rendering logic. Instead of having the draw method, we have the draw event, and then we can subscribe to that event, right? So world add handler, and handler is the handler draw, right? So we have this function draw. I mean, we will have probably like multiple things that we want to draw, and we can split those into functions like this, right? Receiver is receiver of the draw event, right? And then over here we do something like print out, we draw here, right? So instead of calling the draw method, we just literally send the draw event, right? Like this, literally. C++ is the better C, as the name suggests, but then it's equal to D. Why not learn D instead? Did you try D? I tried D. D is better. D is better. I like D. But among those three, if it was to choose between C, C++, and D, I would definitely choose D. D is good. But not as good as Rust. Oh, Ves. These. Alright. Yeah, like, also D does things better than Zig. The main feature that's like they are selling Zig with is the comp time, but D already does it better, in my opinion. D lacks a lot of libraries, embedded support is limited. So you like D, but no use for it really. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, maybe like, but as a language, it's a good language. But library-wise, maybe I didn't have problem with libraries. The only problem that I had is the seg faulting when instead of null pointer exceptions. I'm okay with writing my own libraries. That's fine. Embedded, I don't need that. Usually, I mean, with Rust, I'm now compiling for the web. That is something that I couldn't do with D, but yeah. All right, and instead of updating the model, we literally also just send the event. We send the event model like update with delta time, right? With delta time. You follow the cult of the imperfect. Perfect is the enemy of good. Well, yeah, but you need to like try reaching towards the like not the perfect, but like you want to like optimize away the annoying parts, right? Of it. And the lack of the libraries is like nothing compared to the issues that I have with other languages. Still not an excuse to do better, or not an excuse not to do better. You need shift your main bus by 2 tiles. Yeah, it's not an excuse not to do better, but yeah, there is like sometimes, for example, we're going to do a game jam, right? And we're going to write a game in like 3 days. And we're going to write so much bad spaghetti code, but like in the normal circumstances, you can like think a little more about the code that you're writing. You can write it better. And in the long term, you can look into better languages and better libraries that you're using and things like that. Or at least like try them, you know? That's what we're doing here, trying this new library. So model is going to have the update. Let's go here. Abstract update. So this is the event, right? And the update event is going to have the delta time, which is time. Speaking about time, we can use the thing. There is time in the in Gang that should be used for everything. 1 second. It's food delivery. Food delivery, Veldak. Mama is not home yet. Still have a little bit of time on our own. Okay. So yeah, over here we're going to have subscriptions, so world add handler for yeah, like update is a receiver of the update event. Like this is a little bit I think it's fine. Receiver of the update event, and I'm just going to have here, just for now, we're going to be printing out update this, and this is update dot. I think inside the macros, like over here, I also don't have completion inside Helix. Update dot. 1 second. Okay, the food is here. Should no longer be interrupted. So we have update event delta time. Yeah, why don't I have the The auto completion inside a macro, I have no idea. Okay, so there we go. This is what we do. Update. What do we have here? Delta time. Field is private. This field should be public. What else? What else? What is this? Oh, this is model logic. This is where... Okay, fine. So this is the update then. But, I don't know. So, Nerdcell, you wanted to have a separate, like, model, which is, like, the definition of the model, which is just the data, just the components, basically. And then this is the logic, which is the systems. How's the ECS, by the way? I'm just beginning to try it. Did you... If you're in my Discord, it's like Spike linked it. Hold on, let me see. It's the Evenio. Where is it? General. Somewhere over here. This. They have over here, they have a summary of why they decided to go away from Bevy ECS and into this. If you're interested. I just started trying it, but I think I like the idea. I didn't do anything yet. So I have the update, which is going to be the receiver. I don't know, update, the receiver of the update event, right? This is this handler basically. Right, so that this handler is just, I guess I just do logic init world logic. So this is not public then. Public init world add handler date. Like something simple as that. Another question about the new ECS, does it compile faster than Bevy ECS? Bevy ECS is heavy. The Bevy ECS itself, but the engine is heavy. Did you try using Bevy ECS without other things? Because I did not. I don't know. There's a lot of things to compile. You can... I mean, I can try cloning it. So far, it's just like, it's pretty new, so maybe, I don't know, it will grow and become slower, I don't know. It will lose a lot of reflection and such. Isn't that an optional feature in Bevy ECS, or is it no longer optional? I guess this one does not have. This is probably on the same level as like Hacks. Maybe. Well, Hacks doesn't have systems. In this one, you just basically have the components, entities, and then you have systems in the form of the event handlers. So you have entities, components, events, and handlers. At least I have not read anything about the reflection. And I don't think there is dependencies here. A hash, bumpalo, some macros for deriving, I guess. Procedural macros, slab, relocated storage for uniform data type, rayon, index map. It seems like very light dependencies here. These are very light, I think. Rayon is the maybe the heaviest one here, and it's optional. Okay, so what do we do now? Let's try cargo run. What's going to happen? We should see in the console here. Yeah, there you go. We draw here, we update, and this is the delta time. And then I think the biggest issue might be the fact that in order to draw, like I think it's not going to be the issue for the model because we're not going to use anything that's not send and sync there, I guess. But for rendering, I'm actually like wondering. Let's try just in the render over here, right? Instead of printing to the terminal that we draw here, I want to actually like clear the screen with a specific color, for example, right? So I need access to the thing. So how do I do that? GR. Okay. So over here, when we are calling the method draw, we have the frame buffers that we can use to like draw things there, right? So my understanding is that we are not going to be able to do that. It's not even the send and sync. It's mostly about the events needing to be static, right? So what I want, I mean, we can try, but I'm going to not compile, right? Draw frame buffer is the frame buffer. Let's do this. Is this possible? So over here, it cannot be sent safely between the threads. Yeah, so send and sync is bad. The lifetime did not add an issue, maybe? Just the fact that we cannot, that we are not send is the thing, right? D-Zap, hello. Ken Roy, the third, hello. I'm not doing any drugs, no. Huh? I'm using Rust. It's similar to drugs, but it's like not really, you know. It's and I'm playing Factoria, which is also similar to drugs, but like not really, you know. I think Rust is worse for me than drugs, to be honest. Most normal first chapter question. Yeah. Martin, hello. So can I just fork this and remove the send and sync? Consider removing send and sync requirements. Does it mean that I can just fork this? Let's fork. Where's the fork button? Where's the fork button? There it is. This is the fork button. Okay. Oh, Oh, and this is where Helix, both Helix and NeoVim are going to suffer, because I want to open files from a different project. How are you doing that, Nerdcell? But at text editor, this is Helix. But I'm considering switching to VS Code right now. How do I open here? I just do open, and then like, and then folder there. Is that how you do it? Like without switching, because I want to have a patch here basically, right? I think I want to have over here, this is going to be instead a path dependency, you know? This venue is going to be a path dependency, which is like a venue, like this, right? Usually open another terminal on another workspace, but I want to have my current, like, thing. Doesn't Helix have Windows support or tabs? It is oh, this command line. I mean, Windows or tabs. I don't know. I'm not a Helix expert. I don't even know why I started using that instead of opening VS Code like I usually do. Right. Anyway, I need to clone vman evenio so that I can work on that source code too if I need to like have a patch there. It has tabs as well. Do you use Helix VS? Just need to enable the buffer line. How do I enable the buffer line? How do I enable the buffer line? What do I need to do here? Create new window tab to have separate workspace without launching new terminal. But I want the Rust analyzer to be like the Rust analyzer for the main project, because it's a dependency of that. Like if I go, like let's say that if I go to the definition of a thing, then it should make me go to like something that's outside the current like folder. Or should I have cloned it as a submodule, git submodule, then everything would be inside there. I don't know. In VS Code, I just open another folder literally, and that it just works. Editor, buffer line, always this. Don't do submodules with Rust. Yeah, submodules are not going to work well if something has a workspace there. Yeah, it's bad. I agree. I don't like submodules. I'm just like wondering. So far, I only worked like that in VS Code before. Projects. And template. Let's see. So what's the buffer line? GN? How do I open a new one? Or is it like, is it like telling me all the open like files, open buffers, Lake, readme, GN, GP. Okay, so this is the tab line. I can, why can I not click on it? Huh? Why is it not clickable? I can click to move around my code here, but I cannot click this. Is it CLI? Well, I can select the text here, right? Even though it's CLI, it responds. NeoVim works with, in NeoVim I can click on my tabs. All right. Anyway, is there a selector for the buffer space B? This is the one, right? So that's literally what is showing at the top, right? Okay, wait, how do I close? I need to like also buffer close just BC, right? Okay. Okay, anyway. Let's see, cargo check. Because it's the it's that now. Okay. Good. So like from here, if I go into the venue, right? That's my locally checked out copy. Go to next buffer. Yeah, GN GP. Go to next buffer. Go to previous buffer. Over here we have this, like, right, the venue, and this is the library that's inside the other folder. So like, can I have over here this file selector for the other folder, right? Can I do open home projects venue, and then I have the selector for all the files there? Okay, and maybe this is how you do it. Do I like can I do it faster than like writing the path though? Because like similar to like how quick this is, I want to open the file picker. Yeah, I know that it's fizzy F, but like if I want to open a file, right, by default space F, the file picker opens the files in the current folder, right? And there's also open file picker at the current working directory. But I want to open a file picker in like in a different directory, and like, and I want to have a current like list of directories that I'm working with, basically. So I want to have a directory picker, and then I pick the directory, and that opens a file picker for that directory. Maybe. All right. I think it's easier if I just go there directly. Right? And I just need to remove all the sync and send here, because we will not need it anyway for now. Do they have the nicks? Like they don't have the nicks. So like, okay, fine. Home pro venue. But then I need like the still that stuff. So I want to develop with the same thing. Right? I can just do this and then open Helix, I guess. Cargo check. Also over here, this is how we this is the time to build this library from scratch. Let's see. Download 27 dependencies and compiled in 5 seconds. Four seconds, 5 seconds, yeah. Write open plus directory path. That will open the file directory for a directory in a directory. That's what I did, yeah. But like, do I need to write that directory path every time? Do I need to like type it out? That's a lot of work. I want something like, do they have tests or examples here? They have benches. let's write a test. Tests helix test slash non-send dot rs, right? The one you suggested, yes. I'm having one issue right now that they require everything to be send and sync. So we want evenio prelude function main world is world new world add handler. Also, why do I not have the auto completion here? Oh, stupid thing doesn't work. Has tab completion. The open plus directory path. Yeah, that it's not Vim, it's Helix. I don't know why. I guess I like to suffer. That's why I'm using Helix right now. You should know that we like suffering, right? Speaking about things like Z oxide, I also recently read about a thing that's called JJ, which is actually called Jujutsu. Is that how you pronounce it? And you guys know about that shit? I don't know. I was just reading about it and I was like, okay, sounds good. I will probably never use it anyway. JJ is cool, but submodules are not supported yet. I don't use submodules. What do you use submodules for? Well, I mean, yeah, submodule is one way of doing things. Okay, world mutable. Why do I not have the completion here? Hello? Can I open it again? Tests, not send. Restart the Rust analyzer. Hello? There you go. Why did I need to restart Helix for it to work like that? It's because I worked in a new file that didn't exist yet, so Rust analyzer didn't pick it up. Okay, so what we want here is a receiver. Is a receiver of a event. Like this is test event, right? So we're going to have drive event, struct test, right? That's our receiver. And then I want something that's non-send inside, right? So what I want is to print out, hello, here's, I don't know, let's just do this. This x. X is 1 to 3 first, right? Function requires our type to outlive static. So like here's one of the things. The handlers, they need to be static. So I cannot have what I tried already. I guess if I move this, I will make it static, but the question is if I do RC, which is not send, then we had not be sent between threads safely. Like this is the thing that we want to be fixed for sure. You might just cook a PR for Z oxide. Sounds actually useful. And of course, they closing this PR saying it should be a plugin, but there is not a plugin system yet, right? Okay, so RC cannot be sent with, like, we are inside this library right now. I want this error to be fixed. Let's just find sync here, right? Implement send and sync for unsafe world cell and fetcher. Event PTR. Evanio deriving event. Let's see, what is this? Input, generics, make where close, predicates, push, self, sensing, and static. So send and sync, I'm going to remove from here. This is deriving the component. Components don't need to be send and sync. Just remove this from here. Can I open like the previously like closed like search window so that I don't need to start from the very beginning here, but like at the file that I already looked at? Safety. Components are guaranteed to be send and sync. Okay, I'll just remove that because the components are no longer guaranteed. Helix moment. I'm having a bunch of moments right now. Create event sensing static. That is not needed. What's a star means? What does a star mean here? Is that a file that is not saved? But I did save it. Right? What's a star in this? This file is saved. Thus it's opened. Okay. Let's close. Can I close all the buffers? Yeah. Sync for event queue. Only access behind the exclusive reference to the event queue. I'm just going to remove everything regarding sync and send. Like, I literally don't care. Everything that I find. Changelog, sure. Remove that. I'm going to add it back if I need it. Satisfy, still and sang. Static bound. Okay. Sure. Events are always send and sync. Well, not anymore. Send and sync. Send, sync, event indices. Move that. Aliased box. Send and sync. Don't need that. Unsafe code. I am just literally making this library safer by removing unsafe code. See, unsafe impl. No unsafe required anymore. You can use out that it opens previous speaker and remembers all scroll position. Oh, out. Hold on. When do I need to open that? It doesn't work. Should I use it in what mode? Like right here, I'm pressing Alt. Help. Uh, Picker, like previous. What's the command for it? Can I find it here? Shouldn't this tell me? Is there a search for like commands? Open command palette. Previous picker. Open last picker. It's space. It's not alt. I guess you remap your like thing to that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Oh, but then this thing is yeah, is still here. Since it's the last speaker, even although I have changed the file already. Fine, sure. I just need to go down. Yeah, that's actually better because I don't need to like remove the comments and shit like that. Sure. Arch state. Dancing, debug static. Cached data for fetch initialization. Okay, transfer wrapper non null. This implements send and sync unconditionally. This is not needed. Do, 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 do. Only mute access to T is provided when T is not sync, so this is safe. Remove. I don't even want to think about this. Get where T is sync. Exclusive. Just don't need it. Just don't need it. Safety, remove. For panic. World, send, sync. Okay. Implement that. Okay. In the benches, it doesn't matter. Let's see. Cargo test. Or the air train bounce willy-nilly? No, they want to have a parallel executor for the thing. So like, you know how in Bevy it can parallelize your systems? They wanted to implement something like that, so they added the traits, but they didn't implement the parallel thing anyway yet. From what I understand. World 888 handler list cannot be shared between threads safely. Is it because I'm doing the test here? World 888. What is this? Flash event queue. Handle list. Because it's static? It's because it is static. Handler list. Alright, now I need to like understand what this code does. Flash event queue sends all queued events to handlers. The event queue will be empty after this call. So the event meta, it's a targeted event. We know what that is. And handler list is a static thing. Returns an empty handler. Do I just do like a thread static here? Thread. Thread local. I think I just do a thread local here. And then I do... Oh wait, but I returned the handler list. I cannot return the thread local shit here. Get code, now I need to understand what this code means. Stack overflow moment. Where am I returning? Like, what am I returning from? That handler list, target location. Handler list, handlers. Whatever. I think maybe this thread local can be like earlier. I do that. So I'm not doing the empty, I'm doing empty. I think it's literally just a handle to the empty list, literally. It doesn't even need to be static. It can be like constructed locally. Like the only thing is probably like the handler list. What is it even? No definition found. Why is there no definition found? Like how stupid is the Rust analyzer here? Hello? Handler struct handler list. Where is it? What is handler list? Wait, handler list. I was just in that file. How did I not find it? Handler list. Now I can go into the definition, but before I could not. Why? VS Code works properly. Do I need some more configuration? Has anyone had, like, you guys use Helix, right? I'm over here inside a macro. I think it has to do something with the macros. Inside a macro, I do not have the auto completion, and I cannot go to the definition here. So if I move this outside of the macro, then I can go to definition. I need the nightly for that. I'm pretty sure it works for me on stable in VS Code. You want types, but you use it as JavaScript. Ignore types, just run it if it works. Well, it's Rust. If it compiles, then it works. PlankD has same issues, but compared to IntelliSense for VS, at least it doesn't slow everything down. But how is VS, like VS Code is also working on like the same Rust analyzer, so like what's the difference? Yeah, so this this nuke does not even need any allocation here. It just gives me the thing with a static lifetime is the only thing. I guess. I'm unwrapping or empty. This is the handler list. And then handler list handlers. Is this. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to not use static. I'm not going to use thread local. I'm literally going to say here. Oh, wait, but this is a const here. Entity location. No, this is different. Okay, I see. Over here, I'm going to say sum. So I'm going to just make this thing optional. And I'm not going to unwrap here. I'm just going to do it like this. So I'm going to do handler list, map, or empty list of handlers. List handlers. There you go. This should just compile. This is basically the same code, but without the need of anything static. Look at all those tests passing. You wanted me to write a test, Veldak? Now it works. Now we have the thing without the need of send and sync. And I can, like, make a pull request because they wanted to remove that anyway, right? Better than Bevy? Sounds like fake news to you? No. Are you a Bevy fanboy? Hello there? No, I mean, I like Bevy, but there is a lot of things that I don't like. Agvorsa, hello. We go back to the gang template, right? We go back here. So now in the game here, they should no longer tell me that something is not send or sync. Expected value found struct. Yeah, this should be struct frame buffer, right? Cargo run. No, wait, hold on. This is not static. Yeah, we should have this. So how do I get rid of this error now? This is a different one. This is a different one. Great job. It would be if you added new tests which demonstrate the behavior and warn if it breaks. It will compile error, literally, if it breaks. I have added a test that tests that the library works with something that is not send and sync. Now I want something. Do I lift the static lifetime too? But that's probably like that requires some thinking about the safety and everything. Or something. I want something like a scoped threads here, I guess, in order to have a non-static thing available inside the event, right? Because this event is stored inside the world. But like technically, this library, when it says send the event, right? It's going to, like, you know, if I understand this library correctly, when I'm sending an event into this ECS world, it's supposed to run all the handlers, and this event will eventually be like no longer used, right? So why is it required the event is static here? Because the event literally only needs to live for the lifetime that is over here, right? Send many. It's just because we're storing it in the event queue, and that's just the easiest way of writing that code, I think. It's queued, but like from the outside API, you have the sending of the event, right? So it's like queued, but it's an internal queue inside this like method, basically, right? Like after I'm out, after I have sent this event and I'm back to the original code, all that event has been processed and like it's not there anymore. All right, but let's say that we don't fix that yet, because I think that's not as easy as removing the sync and send. Is it? Well, that's how it's supposed to be, yes. When I'm sending the event, that's not just adding it to the queue. It's only added to the queue if I am sending using a sender. A sender is something that is if you send the events from inside the handler. From the outside of the world, if you send the event, then it's going to be like processing all the handlers. And the events that are sent from within those handlers, those are queued. Okay? But this, I think, can be like a scoped thing. It's just another practice library. I'm using event pp, C++ library for event dispatcher and callback list. There are hundreds of implementations of the same thing. It is obvious and annoying. Well, if I were writing C++, I would not need to worry about lifetimes. I would just like use this code and see if it breaks. See if we have a seg fault or not. The current issue is like... Oh, I would not have that issue in C++, I guess. How do I do this though, then? I think for most of our game, it's fine. But over here, how do I render from inside the handler? Because I literally need the access to the frame buffer here. No delete, I see. Who cares about the lifetime? Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. This is going to be beautiful. We do it the C++ way. Static. Static. Frame buffer. Unsafe. std mem transmute frame buffer. This will work, right? Am I missing inline? No, I'm missing some of that. All right. I mean, it will work. This is safe, I think. I mean, it's obviously not static here, so we shouldn't treat it as static. Okay, we can do the proper unsafe route then. We can just do a pointer. A pointer will work. But the frame buffers, this already has a lifetime associated there. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Just do this. Whatever. Let's just draw something on the screen. I'll figure it out later. Is it safe? Is it unsafe? It is. I can add a comment if you like. Safety. This is safe. That's how you do it in Rust, right? When you use unsafe code, you need to add a safety comment. Now you feel better? So frame buffer is a receiver event frame buffer. There you go, right? This is behind a shared reference. I need to have something like, I need to re-borrow it. Current borrow receiver event is mutable, so this needs to be a mutable receiver. Can't mutate. This needs to be mutable too then. There you go, now we have a frame buffer. So we just do something like ugly clear frame buffer. Then the blue color. Okay. So ignoring this lifetime issue, this is how we're supposed to have it, right? Blessed by the safety fairy. So I should have the whatever color I chose there in my background. There you go, the blue color, amazing, right? So why? Let's say that someone wants to add an optional, like debug rendering, right? Then what we can do is we want to add just another handler, debug draw, or like, I mean, yeah, we just like split our code into the methods like this, but this can like live in a different module completely. And we just copy that and we do that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Let's do a draw. What are we doing again? I am ready to actually write a game here. I think I understand everything that's needed to do here. What is the game that we're making? The zombies are going to like be there, right? Let's see. Draw Factoria. All right. All right. I just do something like draw sprites. Draw sprites. So this is specifically the clear method, right? And this is going to be the draw sprites. Method. Okay. So I'm going to have over here. So we need to fetch all the entities that have like a sprite component to them. Right? Derive component. That's how you do it? Shit, I'm trying to use the vim keys instead of the helix keys. Derive. Struct sprite. So sprite is going to have a texture. Let's have a texture and let's have like the transform in a form of the matrix. Sure, let's do that. For example, and then we just do need to get all the sprites. Sprites is fetcher. That's how you do it. Fetcher of the sprites. Right? We can also like have this in separate in a separate component, the transform. That's what you usually do, but it's like doesn't really matter much to do at unit test. How do you unit test the drawing of the sprites? Why is mat3 lowercase? Because it's a primitive type, like an int. We have vex and matrices. Those are primitives. They're the same as in GLSL basically. So I consider those primitive types, so they're lowercase. Never knew that trust at primitive matrices. No, it's my library. But I like lowercase. Like, why is an int a lowercase? If you answer that question, the answer is the same for the matrix here. Okay, so we just literally sprites. So what do we do here? We just iterate over them, right? Sprites. We do. So first of all, I already see that it will be a lot better than what we are currently doing. It will allow us to draw things more efficiently by like instancing or something. But for now, for sprite in sprites, aren't primitive scholars usually lowercase? No. What do you mean usually? In other languages? If you use something like a Haskell or like Kotlin, for example, those have a more like if it's a type, then it's like starting with uppercase, yeah. Like why I don't know. Why in Rust like custom structs need to be starting with uppercase, but the like built into the compiler types need to be lowercase? I don't like that distinction. Too much. Because I32 would be ugly. You like it quite a lot. Well, it works well for a lot of things. But what's wrong with it being int32, for example? What's wrong with this spelling? Why should it be an i32 with a lowercase I? Too long? This is in Java? Ah. Swift does the same thing, by the way. Swift is another language. Swift lang. Right? In Swift, you also like every single other language, I think, is more consistent in that thing. Like the types is just like uppercase. Let's talk about terseness to string of Rust real quick. Alright, anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is only for the matrix and the vector that are used in math. I'm using lowercase. For other things, I do the normal stuff because I write like shaders inside shaders. Those are the types that are used. It like makes sense. Those are primitives there. I consider those primitives, which is like, yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. You don't have to use my library. You're not using it. You use something else. Be happy. We can also do gang is single but I cannot implement the component for it, right? Single engine. What if I do that? Like this is the global data basically. Reference to the engine if I need it for something. Yeah, like I need a camera here too, right? We need to figure out what's the camera. Camera, single, camera. Okay. My current rendering API is not very good. This should be okay, and then I have sprite texture. Right. But this will allow me to just draw the things by spawning them into the world, right? Hmm. I like your lowercase types, Scooby Man. Thank you. Primitive behavior is represented by traits. Well, other types with title case names have impulse. Primitives in Rust also have impulse. You can implement things for primitive types too. Primitive type is nothing different from the other types except for they're built in. The compiler. Self-impulse and primitive types have functions from modules. Which is actually weird, because they have both. They have both. You can have the character module, which have things like decode UTF-16, which is a module. So like std_char is a module, which has a function decode UTF-16, right? But at the same time, there is a char primitive types, which also has methods on it. And like some of those methods are static too. So like I don't know why. Is it not char, like for example char from U32? This is not std char from U32. Like why is that? Why are those things that are in the module are not just the associated functions instead? That's also like I don't understand. Let's try some std lib code. Let's go. The model and the type are both in the prelude, and Rust knows in which context the identifier are used. Yeah, I know, and it's bad. I don't like it. Like for example, there is std f32 consts pi. I think recently they actually added an associated constant too. At least like epsilon, right? Maybe? Hold on. I think they have the things duplicated even now. Right? Yeah, here you see associated constants max, right? Even although there is already an F32 module in std, which has consts. Okay, this one does not have the max. It's like weird. Some of these constants. Oh wait, yeah, hold on. No, this one is here. It's just deprecated. Yeah, deprecated, and it's going to be the associated constant. I want them to deprecate everything that's in those modules and put them into the associated things. That makes more sense to me, at least. I don't know. Okay, we have the draw sprites stuff. Right? Thing compile still. Now we need to spawn the things to do. Let's also. I'm working on the template right now, which I should not do it inside the template, I guess. Do I move this repository somewhere? Let's make it a new one. Because the previous one, the previous commit, like with the Nix, I want to push. But this I do not. Move king template. What do we call it? The zombie. Fine, we call it zombie. Git remote. Set git remote. Set URL origin. Zombie. Let's create this repository too. Zombie. Alright, maybe I'll rename it later. I should call it like the Evenio test because that's what I'm doing here. Hold on. Git push. Okay. Okay, so the game over here, once again, according to the book, we can send an event like spawn a zombie, right? We can send an event that's called like spawn a zombie, right? Let's try that. Like over here in the very beginning, we do world send model spawn zombie. This is an event that we send to for the zombie to spawn, basically. Right? Racked one zombie. Drive event. So then the logic is going to like give us spawn the zombie in a random position, right? Derive component. So this is like the logical position of the zombie, right? Extract position, something like that. So I do add handler spawn zombie. Spawn zombie is going to be having a receiver of the spawn zombie event, right? And then inside, one of the things that I don't know is how to spawn a new entity from inside a handler. Let's take a look. How do I spawn a new entity from inside here? Tutorial. Where's the tutorial? Tutorial. Sending events from handlers. Sending event and its components. Like this is a world insert, but I don't have the world inside, right? S.insert. So this is a sender of the insert. Okay, so we just literally have the sender of the event, and the event that I need. Can I have multiple senders inside? Okay. Sender. So Venue is the new ECS. Yeah, did you see it before? Sender. So over here we specify the set of the events that I can send from inside over here. So I'm going to spawn a new entity. Spawn. What is a spawn? An event which signals the creation of an entity, contains the entity ID of the new entity. The event by itself has no additional effects and cannot be used or to spawn new entities. Use world spawn or sender spawn instead. So what do we do here? Sender.spawn. Queues an entity to be spawned. Returns its entity ID and queues the spawn event. Actually, you know what? Hold on. No. Like this event does not have the entity target ID inside. But like after that, like I want this event to be associated with the entity then, right? No, but you don't really follow the Rust game dev side much except from my stream? Okay. My stream is not the best source of the Rust game dev news. So sender spawn, this thing is going to give me the entity ID, queues an entity to spawn, returns its entity ID and queues the spawn event. The returned entity ID is not used by any previous events in the world. The entity will not exist in the world until the spawn event has started broadcasting. Okay. So like, okay. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, sure. Okay, here's what we're going to test. I understand now. Something. All right. And anyway. So entity ID is the spawn, and then this needs to be mutable, I guess, for that to work. So then we do sender insert for the entity ID, the component, and the component is going to be the position. And the position is, let's do thread RNG, generate in circle with the at the center with the radius of 10, for example, whatever. Like it doesn't matter, right? So this means that this also needs to not only spawn things, but also insert the position components, right? I need to write this down. Okay. Our savior has returned. Hello, Cage. Are you going to do LD? So yeah, basically this is the logical part of the spawning of the entity, and then the rendering part of the spawning of the entity. Over here, I'm going to add handler spawn zombie function spawn zombie as a I'm going to have a receiver of the spawn zombie. But over here, when I'm spawning a zombie, right, I want to have the entity available to me already. What's really missing from those ECS is some kind of relational stuff. This, I don't know if it's achievable at speed. Maybe. I don't care too much about the speed though. So let's see, over here, for example, what they did a world spawn, and then they sent the initialized monster with the entity and position already there, right? But this logic is outside of the thing. And the logic of like the health and position here is inside the handler. But the logic of like selecting the position should be written as like part of some handler. So I think there should be still a spawn zombie event like that's without the entity, and then a different like initialized zombie maybe event that already has the entity. Sounds like a little bit of a boilerplate. So maybe maybe we do spawn a zombie. Entity is entity ID. Fine, I'll do that. And then whenever we yeah, it's like sometimes you want to spawn multiple things, sometimes you don't want like to do anything. I don't know yet. Event and target. Is that what they told me I should do? So let's also do this on pressing space instead of doing this in the very beginning. I'm going to say manage event key press. Key is key space, for example. If I press space, then I spawn a zombie. Although that also should be like written as a handler, as an event handler, right? Self world spawn entity is that, and then we do self world send spawn a zombie with this entity. So spawn zombie is a function that's going to receive the spawn zombie. And then have the sender, which is going to be able to send the insert of the sprite. So this is where I'm initializing the sprite of the zombie, basically. Right? Receiver. Do you like Golang? Hello. No. Do they? Receiver dot. I can also query something from when I'm having a receiver. So like, for example, when I'm handling this in the logic, I can query the position already that has been inserted previously, right? So let's try that. So receiver is going to be receiver of the spawn zombie, and I will be able to query from that zombie that we're targeting, that we're spawning currently. I'm going to query the the position, right? Query item position. This should be like public then, right? So query 0. This is the position. Right? So that we do sender insert for the receiver event entity. I insert the sprite. Transform. Let's have the identity for now, and let's have the texture. Let's just have the white texture for now, or like green maybe. Texture, new. But I need the engine here too. Let's have the green since they are zombies. And this is a reference counted. Okay, sure. Query like filter event. Query is like getting the it's like an SQL query, right? This ECS stuff is like a database, and you query only specific things that you need for your system to work. Like getting attributes, yeah. So transform is actually then going to be translate into the position. Let's do that. That's that part. Then I never initialized the camera, right? World spawn. I guess I can just have the global stuff here. Let's just rename this into like global stuff. Global. Oh, this is a component. Yeah, I guess I can just have both camera and like engine here. I don't know. It doesn't matter if I split this or not. Fine, whatever. Doesn't matter. So we are going to have here global is world spawn, and then I do world insert into the global the engine, right? And then I also insert there the camera. Like that. So here I'm initializing my camera. So since I'm, yeah, something like 20 here for the FOV will work, I think. So for initializing the rendering, I need the reference to the engine here. Right? So over here, I do like that. Okay. Replace with E flat, sure. We still need unit test. Have you done some game development, Spike? How did you even find about that library? You follow the Valens stuff? You wanted to do some Minecraft stuff with Rust? I think Badcop looked into that at some point too. Evaluation of assert targeted event failed. So the event is not targeted here. I think event target. I wrote this from memory, but it seems like this is completely ignored. I would like to have a compile error here if this is not the expected attribute. But that can be like added to this library later, I guess. Targeted events. Event target. Hold on. No, event target, yeah. I did it, hold on, no, I did it correctly. I did it correctly. Let's have a look at the logic. Maybe over here, I have a receiver of the spawner zombies. Receiver. So I need to insert, by the way, into the receiver event entity, right? Okay. Sender spawn means that I'm not sending the spawn event anymore. I have a tech career question that's bugging me. Mind if you ask it her? Yes. I mean, you can ask whatever you want. Hello. The Linux is not activated, which means that I'm poor and cannot afford it, which means that I'm not the best source of advice for a tech career. Just before I answer your question. An evaluated program panicked at event is targeted. The above error was encountered while instantiating Venio receiver spawn zombie. At no, hold on. I don't have like, yeah, okay, this error message, I mean it makes sense, like it makes sense. I don't have like A, B, C, D and the entire alphabet like error messages like I have in Bevy, but okay. I think I literally just need to make it a targeted event by doing this, right? It like if I don't want to query anything here, then I just do this maybe. Okay, I guess it's correct, I guess. All right, so I press space and nothing works. Amazing. Let's try over here, print. Let's say that this is the position. Let's do that. What would you do if everything you liked about tech stuff existed and while all the things relevant to tech violates your love for it and this career path is the biggest part of your identity? I don't know. I definitely see some events here. This is where I'm spawning shit. Okay, so now I'm assuming then. I'm assuming that what is happening is because this is the spawn zombie event, but I have not yet inserted the position into that zombie. It means that the spawning of the of this zombie sprite could not find the position yet. So how am I supposed to deal with that? I feel like I'm not. You learn Rust and spend time with like-minded people who share your interests. Okay, I'm still like wondering how am I supposed to deal with that then? If our game has lots of monsters with lots of components, we might grow tired of inserting the components individually. Fix this, we can create a new event and handler to do the inserting for us. It doesn't help much though. What I want is to like partially initialize the health and position, and then initialize the rendering components later once this is done initializing. But because this insertion of the entities does not happen immediately, but yeah, I guess we need something like a different event after all. What's violating your love in tech? That's rather open-ended. Are you a C purist or something? Are you saying that C stops existing? It's starting to stop existing? You're not wasting CPU cycle and memory purist? I guess I need a different event, like something like this. This zombie has all right, that's I don't know. For now, what I'm thinking is that like this has been initialized, you know, event. You know, like zombie initialized. Maybe it will be a more generic one later. So spawn zombie is not a targeted event then, I think, after all. Spawn zombie is actually spawning the zombie and initializing it and does everything there. But then after we spawn, we zombie initialized entity is entity ID, right? Like when I'm firing the spawn zombie event, the zombie is not spawned yet, but when the zombie has been spawned, I guess let's call it zombie spawned, maybe, for example. So spawn zombie does not have an entity. We just fire this event without doing that. We just literally send this event, spawn as a zombie. And this one is private. I need to make it public. And then this. This is a receiver that's not targeted event anymore. Right? So I'm going to both spawn and insert after all, like I did before. Entity is sender spawn. Like that. And something is targeted. This error is wonder if they could make it better, but it's a compile time error instead of a runtime error, which it could be. Event target, like that. Okay, space. I need to send the zombie spawned event now, obviously, because I have these separate events. We do sender send zombie spawned entity, right? Okay. Something happened. Zombie spawn is not in the event set. Okay, well, this error I would like to be the thing. So spawn zombie is going to send zombie spawned events. Yeah, having this in the signature is kind of nice. Although sometimes I would like it to be inferred, I guess. I can like just look at the function and know what it potentially can do in the world. That's nice, you know? In Bevy you just have the commands and it can do anything. Okay, there you go. We have spawned the zombies, guys. Alright. I'm not sure if this is the way, but I have kind of split it in the things. Complete knowledge is an illusion. There is always an underlying reality that will escape you. You guys are talking some deep stuff. That's deep. All right. The question is what I have written here any good? All right. Well, I mean, let's continue over here. So like the key press space, for example, right? That should be different, I think. I think all I want to do here is I just do self world send gang event. Let's have a thing like that, right? Then we can write like separate handlers everywhere. So like we have the controls kind of separate this way without even relying on the engine by translating the events into the input, right? So it's the model control view stuff, right? Model view controller. Okay. So gang event is the event. Right? Over here, I'm initializing model, rendering, and controls. And then here, I do world add handler for the like spawn zombie. So over here, the spawn zombie in the control part of the game, the spawn zombie happens when we press space, right? So we have a function that tells spawn zombie, which receives the gang events and then checks it if I have pressed space, for example. Sender is sender of spawn zombie. So I'm going to send spawning zombie events, right? So I'm going to match receiver event. I mean, if flat event key press key space is this, then sender send, no, sender send spawn zombie, right? That's how it's supposed to be, and that should be like literally the same stuff. Space, 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 and I spawn them. All right. Is that any good? So now we have not only the we literally are doing the MVC, right? I never did anything in the MVC pattern. Is that what it actually means? MVC pattern. I don't think I've used that actually. Not really. I think. Okay, we have the assets. Assets over here. I can try loading the zombie texture, so that instead of using the green, I can use a texture. All right, new 32 by 32. All right, how to draw a zombie. Okay, that's going to be a zombie. Might need a content warning. Okay, so if in the game I am initializing using the assets, then rendering, I need to initialize the rendering using the assets here too, right? Sure. Sure. World insert global. Let's just have it here. Pum, 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 pum. When I was a kid, the only thing I had that used a microprocessor was a video game system. Things were direct. So over here, I'm creating a new texture, but instead, I should just take the texture is going to be the global. The global. Single global. Global dot. Why don't I have the auto completion? Hello? It should be says assets here, right? Yeah, but why don't I have the auto completion? Because this thing is stupid. Assets, zombie, clone. That's what I should have. But I don't have no definition found. It's stupid. The Rust analyzer is broken again. I blame Helix. I never have this problem in VS Code. To do add zombie sounds. Right? Skill issue TBH. Are you talking to other people in chat or to me? Okay, Nerdsoul, did you... Me? Skill issue what? Oh, the fact that Helix does not autocomplete for me. Okay, fine. How do you feel about the other things that I have done here? If you have been following at all. Been away for the last hour? Alright. Let's just do the zombie sound, okay? Since Veldak asked for it, alright? Let's just do the zombie sound. Alright. There you go. Beautiful zombie sound. Expert. Audio. Projects. Zombie. Assets. Zombie. Assets. Slash. Zombie. WAV. Zombie. Let's call it A. Okay. Nice zombie. First try. Okay. Assets. Zombie. This is the sound. Okay. And then so we have the rendering. We can also have like a separate audio system now. Let's do that. Okay. I have already improved your template, Nerdso. We don't only have we have the model, logic, and rendering split. We also have the control split. So the controls is what like just handling the input and turning it into the logic events, so that logic doesn't need to know anything. You do that now too? Nice. Sometimes. So that the logic doesn't need to know anything about the engine. It can be compiled like faster and like run unit tests there, I guess. Is what we can do without having the actual input. Code. So we want to have the sound system now, right? Yeah, create sound. Okay, so we do sound init. Assets are also here, I guess. It's going to be similar. Look at this over here. Cannot find function init in module render. Not found in render. Go to definition. There it is. How is it a skill issue? It literally doesn't work. Let's restart Helix. That's a me issue? What? Alright. VS Code. I'm done with that shit. Open folder. Projects. Zombie. Ah, shit. Ah. Zombie. You don't understand a thing, but you think it's me? Ah. Helix user can fucking code without VS Code. Alright. Let's see. There's an update available. I should update my system. Can I get rid of this? This update is available for VS Code. Because, like, I need to update stuff. New ECS PogChamp. Yeah, it's called Evenio. Done by someone who is doing a Minecraft server. Who was doing it in Bevy ECS before. From what I understand. It is from Valence. Rust framework for building Minecraft Java edition servers. Built on top of Bevy ECS. And they want to rewrite it using this ECS. What I understand. Mod sound. Create module. Sound. Okay. So this is going to be similar to render, I think. Kind of. Let's see. Let's see. Remove that. I don't need draw. I don't need sprites. I don't need clear. But global, I will have that. Similarly, although that can be like a like outside, but I will have its own thing. It doesn't matter. Like I can literally work on these things. Like we can basically work on these things completely separately. And I think that is nice. So I think Nerdsoul, you should look into that, into what I have done here, maybe a little bit, and maybe we do it this way on the Ludum there. So far, the only thing that is a little bit weird is the transmute. A little bit of unsafe code, but it's totally safe, right? Other than that, I mean, it's fine though. It's fine. I guarantee that it is safe. I think. If you don't do anything stupid with it. Okay, camera is not necessary. So yeah, this literally is just going, this is the sound system, right? So sound system is literally going to listen for zombie spawned event. And I don't need to query anything here. And it's just going to and it is just going to play the sound. Global assets play. Just like that. Every time a zombie is spawned, and it doesn't matter how a zombie is spawned. If I pressed space, or if someone else spawned a zombie, right? This thing doesn't care how the zombie is spawned. Arguments to function is incorrect. You can do directory and it will open the file picker, so just directory and whatever will do the thing. So you don't need a whole path in Helix. Okay, nice. Hold on. We have the same issue in VS Code. Cannot find function in it in modular render. And then I click on it and it's literally there. Huh? Hold on. Okay, this was not a Helix issue. Is that a Rust Analyzer issue? If I try just running that code. Okay, there is something here. I deleted something on accident, and I guess that's why. All right. Amazing, amazing work. We have zombies that are spawning. Perfect. Okay. What is the important thing to do here? Nerdsoul. We don't really like care about turning it into a full game, right? But what's important to test? I think it's kind of nice. So far, there's one thing, collision detection. Okay, sure. Let's make them like move automatically to center and collide with each other, right? Fine, sure. So that's like inside the logic, right? So that's world add handler. So that's like a system like zombie movement, right? We can do something like that. Function zombie movement. So the receiver is the receiver of the. It's just like happening on the update event, right? And then query is fetcher of mutable positions. So far we only have, so like everything that has a position basically is a zombie position. Split zombies on death to spawn 1-3 lower tier zombies, since we don't care about how zombies spawn. Yeah, but we don't die yet. So delta time is receiver event delta time, and then we do so I guess this should be mutable probably. So 4, maybe not. Can you just do 4 position in query? Can I just do that? This works, it seems like. Okay, so over here we just need to move this position plus equal minus position, which means like towards the 0 0, and then we clamp length. Wait, what? Minus position 0. Yeah, of course. Clamp length to delta time. Sure. So that we can move at 1 unit a second, basically. So this is just moving the zombies and without the collision detection. Position plus equal minus position. Yeah. Well, that didn't work. I know why. It's because the rendering is not updating the transform. But it should. So rendering should like follow. Or like, because this transform is a separate thing, I need to update it. But I could instead, like, well, when rendering, using the position instead. Ooh, you don't like that? I mean, this just means that we can have a system that like does the rendering automatically. So you have another system that like translates the position into the transform. That's kind of how it would work. It's like, it's basically like the system that's doing the rendering. In this case, would go into the engine, like just like in Bevy, right? You make sure that you write into the transform component, and then make sure that you have like the sprite component, and then you will see it on the screen. So like the direct rendering you should not be doing, right? So that's like the higher level. The engine is currently like low level, and with this it will be like a better thing, because that, like the rendering of the sprites would be in the engine, and that's the API having the components, just like in Bevy. In that, yeah, just like a different kind of thing. Have you actually tried writing something in Bevy, Nerdsel, before? You did a bit? Like, I think for a 2-day jam, it will be a lot easier to cooperate with this approach, even if it doesn't work in the long term. Like, even if we hate it for 2 days, I think that this is good. You know what I mean? There's like one thing that I don't like is like like I was saying, the separate initialization of an entity, right? We want to initialize the logic part of an entity and then initialize the rendering part of an entity. So to do that, what I'm doing is that after I spawn a zombie, I send the zombie spawned event so that other systems can like see all of these components after that I have inserted here, so that the rendering can be initialized. Although at the same time, like, I don't need to read that because like the position is going to be read in the update anyway. So maybe yeah, maybe something here can be changed. I don't know. What did I want to do? To update the transforms. Yeah. So we do world update transforms. So the updating of the transforms should be let's add handler update transforms function update transforms. This is going to happen, I think, on rendering, so I don't need to have it. So I'm going to receive the draw events, right? But I'm going to ignore the frame buffer is not needed for that. We're just updating the transforms here. So fetcher, so like query is a fetcher of a position, and I'm going to convert the position into the sprite transform, right? So for position and sprite in query, we just say that sprite transform is translate position, right? .0, just like that. There you go. And now it moves towards the center. Okay. And then you want to have the collision, right? So we do world add handler zombie collision, right? Zombie collision receiver. So this is going to happen on every update, and this is going to happen after the movement because that's the order here. And by the way, speaking about the order, it basically means that all the logic is happening first, then all the rendering, then all the controls, and then all the sound systems. Because this is the order of me initializing things. So I think it's kind of like not too hard to understand the order of this stuff happening too. Okay, and then we have a fetcher of mutable positions. Right? So over here, query, iter, pairs. Can I have the pairs here? Iter tools. That's not in the prelude, right? Iter tools. Iter tools, pairs. It's called tuples, maybe? Tuples. Returns that are the group items in tuples of specific size. 1, 2, 3, 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's like combinations, I think, right? Returns like an iterator tuple combinations. That's what I want. Yeah, okay. So we do for like A and B in query dot tuple. Oh, but tuple combinations is what do I need for it? Use iter tools, iter tools, iter tools, tuple combinations. What's the requirement for this? Hello? I want to know like the conditions where this is implemented, where self item clone. Now it's when we can clone the items, but I cannot clone the items. Okay. Can I not iterate over like the mutable? You think you'll do it like it more than Bevy ECS? Still worried about some possibly weird debugging issues? Yeah. Why don't we try and like you can try like on this test game if you have the time before the LD. Query. The only thing is that I need my own fork of a venue, which doesn't have the send and sync, I guess. I need to push that somewhere. I mean, it's a fork. It's, yeah. I just need to push my stuff and use the library from Git here. So wait, iter tools does not allow me to iterate over all the combinations. Iter tools. Combinations. You don't think it's possible in general? Like when we have mutability, then it's not possible? Why not? Because I see why. I know why. We need like the landing iterator API, right? That's not in Rust. Yeah. There is get many mute. No. That's not the problem. The problem is like having an iterator over all the combinations, so like over all the pairs. For that we need the landing iterator. Because this pair, this lifetime, should be not the lifetime of the entire iterator, but of the just the next method, basically. Yeah, okay, whatever. But what can I have in the query? Can I have the length? I cannot. So how do I iterate over the pairs here? I can collect it into iterator and then collect into a vec. So it's a vec. Like that I can do. This is a vec of mutable of of that stuff, right? And then I can do for like this in 0 to positions length for j in 0 to I. Like this way I can iterate over all the pairs. Although I need to like get this stuff there too, right? So I need what? And positions split at mute. So basically, yeah. So A is positions split at mute at I. No, hold on. Let add tail is this. Add first mute. unwrap. If I start with that, then this is the first thing, and then for B entail, basically, right? Can I do that? Can I do that? Can't move out. I need something like that with 2 stars to do a reborrow. So this is just a mutable reference to the position. Yeah. B is mute B. Okay. I don't know how to make it like this. Isn't lending iterator possible though in Rust these days? But it doesn't have the syntax sugar for the for loop, right? But this can be extracted to a method, you know, something like function iterate. You wasn't able last you tried. Like I want something like iterate combinations, like in the iter tools, right? Where like iterator is something that's implementing iterator. Item is like T. Oh. Yeah, I see why. Yeah, so they need to clone here, but we need to not clone. We need to like. We need to the thing that's happening here is not a cloning and mutable reference, but a reborrowing. That's what's happening when I'm like giving the pairs, you know. So maybe it's like almost like a specialized, or we can like, yeah, I don't know, something like this, and then we have the function which is impl fn mute with like mute t, right, which iterates over the pairs. Something like that should be possible to write, right? Anonymous lifetimes are unstable. So I can do this iter pairs. T might not live long enough. This is not possible. Why not? Like I said, it's literally like the same thing. I need to collect here. I need to collect here into a vec. It's probably not possible without allocation. So it's probably like better to implement on a slice directly. But like if I do this, iterator, collect, then we have A and B, and then I do F, A, and B. So this needs to be like mutable. There you go. This seems like it compiles. You was told the only way is a custom allocator. Well, this is not a custom allocator, right? But it needs like this needs an allocation. Which I mean, yeah, because I cannot clone the iterator. Yeah. But technically, this is what we want. Iterate pairs, query into iterator. Let's have it impl into iterator then. Into iterator. Collect query A B. There you go. Right? Let's see. This, let's see, penetration is A position minus B position minus 2 times radius. Radius is 1. They're just going to be the guys with the radius of 1. This length minus 2 radius. Actually, the other way around. 2 minus this length. So if penetration is more than 0, then A plus equal let's see, A0 minus B0 normalize plus equal V times penetration divided by 2, and B we go in the other direction. There was a lifetime that was possible to capture, impossible to capture with a 4A syntax. Let's see if my collision did, like, works here. I think it doesn't. No, it does. Hold on. But these guys don't work with each other. Why not? Like, these guys, they push each other, but those two did not. It's like I'm not iterating over all the pairs. Or something. Almost first try. For a... Boop, 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 boom. I don't know. So what's wrong here, Nerdcell? Do you see the problem? Do you see the problem? You want last mute over here? Oh yes, true. You're right. Wait, did I rename it? Did I rename something from the standard library? Did I just open Helix in the terminal of VS Code? Oh, jam. All right. Easy. Yeah, I think I think we're good. Ship it. Update. Let's get rid of that. Update. Yeah. Let's commit, and let's also go towards project Avenio. Tiny things. Right. We're just testing that we can do like stuff, and if it makes sense. And I think it makes sense for me. I think it will be nice, but I'm not sure. We need to try more. Let's see here. So I want to discard that. Other than that, it's fine. Git check out the branch non-send. There's probably like a way in lazy git to switch branches, but I don't know about that. All right. Remove sync and send requirements. Okay. So now we can change the dependency here to be from git github women venue, right? What do you do with your POG paint file? You can give it. If you want to do what? You want to like share it with other people? You can put it in the Discord and I can open it, I guess. Wait. It should be over here though. Branch is non-send. But what can you do with it? You can open it. And then you can edit it. What do you mean? Alright. How about we also check that this shit works on the web? Cargo gang web, cargo gang run platform web. Because there is a chance that they use something that doesn't work on the WebAssembly, but I hope that it should be fine. No? Event listener strategy. Oh, that's something that I know about. For that, we need a patch right now. Event listener strategy. I think it was fixed, though. I think it was fixed. Venue. It's not my ECS library, Moscow. Hello. I'm not. I'm just trying out that stuff. Yeah. What do I want to do? Shit. Gang engine. Gang. I think I can like update in the dependencies here. Yeah, async broadcast. This pull request that I did. I think they fixed it, closed, because they did it themselves already. But I need to like update the dependency somewhere in gang. So for now, I'm just going to have the same patch here. It's fine. Fix wasm. Did you just read about it? Did you do any game development, Moscow? Did you try like Bevy or other things? I only seen you write your language. All right, let's see. Okay, we have zombies in the browser now. It works. This works. Zombies in the browser. Amazing. Okay. Alright. Zombie. Okay. Do I do anything else or do I end for now? Any ideas, Nerdzel, what I should try here? Or do you just want to look at it? Do you want to stream and we can watch you have fun with that? No? Okay. Remake raffle? Nah, it's going to I'm too lazy for that. It requires some time. Join. It's fight, not join, you guys. Guys, it literally says on the screen, it says fight, not join. I think everyone is just blind. It literally says on the screen fight. Moscow is the worst mage of them all. Igorly. Movie man, Nerdcell. Good job. Now we play Quantum Dungeon? No, we don't. No, we don't play that game. I need to like figure out how to reset the data. Where is the data even stored right now for that bot? I don't remember how it runs anymore. But I guess it works still. Okay. I think I end here. All right. Let's see. We still have like 2 more days when if I have something, if I want to do anything other than playing Factorio for the next 2 days, then I might like try some other stuff. I don't know. I don't know what what else should I do to prepare for the LD? I think what I should do to prepare for LD is to make you figure out what did I do here, Nerdcell, and maybe like show it to Bad Cop too. If Bad Cop is going, our share is going to work fine. I mean, nothing. Bad Cop with us confirmed. Bad Cop. Well, Bad Cop was going to do the Ludum there with rings. And so we had to get them both, I guess. All right. Super good to see a project you had your eye on to be vetted. Did you have a use case for it? Now that's the winner team. We just need to like make sure that like the code is not a problem, and I think it's not going to be a problem. Like this should be like split pretty nicely now, and we can like work in parallel, I think, easily by doing that here. Can we get Brainoid too? I don't know. You can ask Brainoid, but I thought you want to do something, don't know what. I wanted to start with WGPU. Oh, okay. I wanted to like look into the WGPU at some point too, but I don't really have the reason to do it because I'm fine with OpenGL. I don't need WGPU really, other than like just it's interesting to look at. Because then you can say I use WGPU, by the way, but I already say I can already say I use RAS, by the way, and I use Nix, by the way. Is that not enough? We need to add more by the ways. All right. Anyway, go and trade Tim. He's preparing for LD by learning Godot. All right. Triple three game showcase in an hour post champ. What is the triple three games? I don't know what it is. Indie games, like an indie game show. All right. Okay. Anyway, goodbye everyone. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Probably on LD on Saturday. Bye.